Hey everyone, it's Kate. I'm back again. This is day 2 or video number 2 of my free sleep school. We're going to do 3 videos. On day 1 yesterday where we talked about the fundamentals and how to start that journey to better sleep, and day 2 is all about naps and routines, because that's the next part of it, and that's what I want to share with you today. And the idea behind all of this is that you start to build up all the information that you need to start making your journey to better sleep for the whole family. That's exactly what I want to do, and that's how I want to share it with you. So join me on this journey, and I really hope that it helps you out. Feel free to ask me any questions. Always very happy to kind of share the knowledge. That's exactly what I'm all about. I've got my sleep school that's paid for with coaching next week that starts. I talked about that but yesterday. So if you're in the market for amazing value sleep coaching, it's £65 for 2 weeks of me in a WhatsApp group. Or if you're interested in more sort of bespoke one-to-one work, then you can book a free 15-minute call with me. Just click on the link in my bio or drop me a DM and I'm here for you. But yeah, let's talk about naps and let's talk about routines. So just to start off with, and I said this again yesterday, it's all about your child and your journey. So anything that I talk about, you need to interpret from your point of view. It's really not about me or anyone else telling you what to do. It's really about kind of what your child is showing you and how that makes you feel. So if your situation is difficult or you've got some things that you're okay with, then you don't need to change stuff. It's all about what's right for you. So it's your child's journey and your journey to better sleep. But the thing that I would say around kind of naps and the routine angle is there are some guidance around kind of what we call, I suppose, the pillars of it really. And the first one of those is awake time. So if you've not heard of an awake time, basically it's the distance between the last sleep instance, whether that's waking up or a nap, to the next one, whether that's bedtime or the next nap. And what happens is, as they get older, these awake times kind of lengthen. So we start off with like 45 minutes-ish as a newborn, and we get up to, well, I suppose essentially 12 hours once they have dropped their naps, but they vary along that journey. And what that really leads us to is how we then manage the day and the need for sleep for the day based on what you're seeing from the awake times. So I have a handy guide that I'm going to put up as a post, so you can sort of see where the average, very much the average, see what your child shows you, what the average awake times and what the average naps would work to in terms of age and their kind of requirements. But it's all about kind of working it back to yourself. So inform yourself as to the average, I would say. So let's take a 6-month-old. So an awake time for a 6-month-old can be between sort of 2.5 to 3.5 hours. The sweet spot, I'd say, probably is somewhere around 2 hours 45. And so that means that from when a child wakes up in the morning to when they need their next sleep is around that length of time. Now it can be, especially in the morning for any age, that awake time in the morning is a bit shorter. So you look for those tired signs, and I often say, like, let's just write down over a few days what that looks like, and you can start to build up this picture of what the awake times are. So you're looking for those tired signs, you're looking for a slightly fractious behaviour or gazy kind of looking around, or just that kind of sense that they want to sleep. So you want to make sure that you can kind of manage that and work with it so that you can have the best opportunity to settle them for what would be that first nap. So what you want to do then is kind of then build up the picture of sleep along the day. So you have to have an idea of how much sleep they need during the day. And again, I'll put a post up with in terms of reference what that will be. But for this 6-month-old, you're talking about 3 hours sleep in the day. And normally we'd look at spacing that out because of the awake time over 3 naps. So you kind of look at scheduling your day. Now, the most important thing is that there's no rhyme or reason as to how long a nap should be. So you could have an hour and a half nap in the morning, an hour middle of the day, and half an hour later on, and that would be fine. You could have 2 hours in the morning and 2 half-an-hour naps. As long as your child is okay, then you can kind of roll with that sort of schedule. So have a view on what amount of sleep your child needs in the day. And you can get that, again, from the averages, but you can also get that from what they show you. So children can sometimes be on the lower sleep need, and they can sometimes be on the higher sleep need. So you need to kind of figure out whether they're happy in the times that they're awake, and whether they're happy before they go to bed, so they're not too tired or not or undertired, which is not tired enough. And that will kind of help you to gauge whether they are in the right state of tiredness and had enough sleep in the day. Now, nap transitions are happens when the awake time gets longer, so you need to kind of make your day change. And so what we see from a nap transition point of view is the child is not ready to go down for sleep at the normal time it would be, and that they may not sleep for as long as they would normally do. And so what you need to do then in terms of transitioning is just make that nap later and later, so that you can then get to a balance of where they're happier to go to sleep and settle well, and they sleep for a good period of time. And you can see then how when the awake times lengthen, then you drop off that what would be the last nap of the day, and therefore you've transitioned out there. The normal transition times are around kind of 7 to 9 months, and around sort of 14 months, and then probably around sort of 2.5 years when they drop the nap. But again, very much child-led. Now, naps, probably best to move on then to the routine side of things, because it's helpful to have a routine in terms of settling. So we're talking here about, kind of starting that journey to sleep, not about the settling itself, because we're going to talk about that tomorrow, but what we're talking about is kind of heading towards that sleep situation. So in terms of nap settling, I would say that you want to kind of recognise when your nap's going to be, and then start winding down towards it, probably no more than like 5, maybe 10 minutes before. Have a kind of a mini routine that will look like quiet play, heading up into their sleep space, making sure they're kind of comfortable with comfy clothing, and then settling them down to sleep. From a bedtime point of view, and when it gets to kind of that later time of the day, have like about half an hour routine and make that kind of fairly consistent each day, because then they get to kind of latch onto it and they understand kind of what you're doing, and they can recognise the signs that it's happening each day, and start that journey to sleep. And start that journey to sleep so that you can head from the active part of the day into what will eventually be the nighttime part of the day. For me, and we'll talk about this more in the settling tomorrow, it's about trying to keep them engaged and awake, but not pushing that tiredness too much. There are some children that really need kind of excited play before bedtime to get rid of some energy and then settle down. If you've got one of those children, then do that. Have a little disco for a bedtime routine, and then have that journey to better sleep, because you've kind of got rid of that last pent-up energy of the day. So what I would suggest you do is you would kind of just make sure that you have this rhythm towards bedtime so that you can enact it. And that's very much kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So we talked a lot about kind of naps and a little bit about bedtime routine, and tomorrow we're going to roll on to kind of the nighttime settling and what happens through the night as well, in terms of wakings that you might want to be transitioning out of. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do let me know if you have any other questions. Very much happy to answer them, and otherwise I will see you tomorrow for the next video. If you do want to kind of get more of a grip on these, I'm sending these out to my mailing list every day, and I will be sharing more tips as we move along the journey. So take care, have a lovely afternoon. I'll speak to you soon. Take care, bye.